Hey guys, welcome back. And first of all, I'd like to say thank you on the support of the last video. It was very supportive. But now let's get on with this episode. This is an episode of the view of Twin Suns, the second final episode before 0 Hour, which is going to be very interesting. But let's talk about Twin Suns in my episode, The View. Twin Suns I find to be the most senatorial storyline in the whole of the Rebel series, making it probably me and many fans' most favourite story throughout the Star Wars franchise. It's clearly based between the story between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul, or just Maul because he doesn't actually have a name in this. But what I like about it, it's solely focused on these two main characters. I'm going to make this out in the clear. I didn't like how they got Ezra Bridger through this as a little lesson for him, but it's not a concern. It's the whole reason he got involved was so the story was about the Ghost Crew, so Ezra has to get involved. But let's begin. We end up starting off with underneath the two blazing suns over Tatooine, and Maul's successfully found the planet of Tatooine where Obi-Wan lives, but as you know, Tatooine is a wasteland of sand and dust. Maul is having his hard time in finding where Obi-Wan is, which was the whole idea. But if you think about it, it's great that you found the planet where somebody's at, but you're looking for this one person over a whole planet with no communication at all. It doesn't help at all. That's what the whole idea the creators did for the Tatooine. So Maul thinks he would use Ezra Bridger in trying to find Obi-Wan Kenobi. So he uses the holocron that he has on him to trigger an Obi-Wan's message that Ezra Bridger has in his possession, because the last time the two holocrons were broken, but Maul kept a piece. Believing that Obi-Wan might still be alive, Ezra goes up against the fact that Hera and the crew don't want him to go on this mission to find Obi-Wan. And I also like the fact that when Lex gets told about Ezra thinking Obi-Wan Kenobi might still be alive, he actually ends up saying that Bail Organa confirmed his death, which I thought that was great because he's been an awesome pro in doing that. He's been awesome in not telling anyone where he is, despite he knows he's lying. He's lying. Bail, you just gotta stop telling white lies to everyone. Not cool. Not cool, but it's cool you keep it for Kenobi. Cool, man. Anyway, Ezra defines a team and goes off to Tatooine. Before I say this, I like how Heather stops Ezra and tells him why she wants him kept, not because he's family, it's because he knows the Fall better than any of the people, because he's lived on the Fall for years. So that just makes sense. So when Ezra goes to Tatooine to go and find Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Chopper sneaks along with him, here's them searching the desert for Maul. Well, Maul's been training or trying to get Ezra to find Obi-Wan for him. Tusken Raiders. Awesome Tusken Raiders! You saw in my reaction how great it was to see Tusken Raiders. Awesome! And they blew up the ship. And now Tusken Raiders are not cool, they're just annoying. But anyway, As Ezra and Chopper end up going into the open plains of the desert, Chopper ends up dying. And this is another great thing that Maul does. He was manipulating in Ezra and thinking, in going on this mission, you've killed your friends, making Ezra feel so guilty and horrored by what he has done to his friend, got him to this position to get him killed. Obviously not. But when we cut on to our favourite scene. First of all, I actually like the Easter eggs that they show in this little scene here. The power charger that's actually charging Chopper is the same one that is used to charge up R2-D2 in A New Hope, which I thought that was pretty cool. And the first time we've ever seen a Drewbag. If you don't know what that is, that's the big animal at the back. I've always wondered how Obi-Wan, if he ever had any company while he was on his travels, and for a fact he's got one of those Drewbags, which I thought was pretty cool. Get back to the subject. When Ezra wakes up, he starts speaking to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, Obi-Wan already knows it's Maul that was set up Ezra to go, so he tells him. But I like how Obi-Wan tells him that he's came all his way, but he's got what he's needed, but he seems to be letting it all go. By this he's meaning family. He's always wanted family, which is the Ghost clue, but he's saying it all go away when he's going off to find Obi-Wan and Maul, possibly could have got himself killed. But as I was mentioning this, Maul shows. I like how when Ezra says we fight him together, but Obi-Wan says no, I will deal with his old wound. Which I thought was one of the greatest lines I've ever heard Ben Kenobi ever say. Oh, I don't care, he's called Ben and Obi-Wan, I don't care, it's the same person. But it's great how we got to hear this name. When he said it, calls Maul an old wound, as it's been long awaited for this story to conclude to an end. And I also like how he sends Ezra off, so it's not his battle to be, which gives Ezra a great lesson. I'll just end this here so I can talk more about Obi-Wan and Maul. Ezra ends up learning a lesson that family's more important, and Ezra doesn't need to fight every battle. He just needs to be with his friends and support them in whatever they need. Because he is a Jedi, but family's more important. Now that's kept them all, and Obi-Wan, which is great. As Ezra leaves, I like how Obi-Wan is willing to talk down the differences between Maul and him, which is making things a lot more tense, but until they started going personal when they were talking about what they have risen, what have you become a rat in the desert, Maul says. Listen, look what I've risen above. But then, as in anger, as soon as Obi-Wan starts telling the truth about Maul, he starts getting angry. I wouldn't blame him. He's always driven by rage and revenge. He blames Obi-Wan for everything that's happened. I thought he would go for Sidious, but the reason for Obi-Wan, ever since he cut off his legs on Tatooine? No. Ever since he cut off his legs, he's been deceived by Darth Sidious, and he's been driven to madness and revenge for what's happened, making it perfect why it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, despite Maul has already killed his master and his former lover. I like how Obi-Wan's still determined to be peace with his enemy before it all ends. But Maul starts thinking, which I like. He's starting to think about, why is Obi-Wan here on this desert planet? Yes, you can hide, but there's a further reason, which we all know as Star Wars fans what the real reason is. But as soon as Maul starts thinking about it, Obi-Wan starts cringing and hoping he doesn't figure it out. But then soon as Maul says, you're protecting something, you're getting there, Maul, you're protecting someone, then straight away Obi-Wan takes out the lightsaber, knowing Maul cannot leave, knowing this information. And now on to the fight. It was not long, but I wondered why the fight was taking so long to start. I've figured it out now. It's because Maul and Obi-Wan have learned their battle tactics for over 30 long years. Knowing for somebody that long how they're going to do stuff would be very hard, because we know, I said last time, Obi-Wan's on defensive, and I've actually found out it's actually a phase 3, which means he can defend and attack or something like that. I don't know how Jedi do this stuff. But it was great watching it again and again. Maybe 4 times I've seen this fight now. Well, it's the episode 4 times, with the fight like 20 times. But when we saw the fight, I was surprised, as in my reaction, how short it was. But this is why. Maul used the same tactic that he used to kill Qui-Gon Jinn, smacking the lightsaber, deflecting one blade from Obi-Wan, trying to get his lightsaber smack across the forehead and stab him like Qui-Gon did. Here you go. Yeah, we know that how it ended, but it was great how, at the end, Obi-Wan was able to slice down the middle to take down Maul, which I thought, oh, that was quick, but it was a long time coming, and it was just, everything about this episode just made things great. I won't stop saying this episode is great. But when Maul lies down, falls, Obi-Wan catches him, and as Maul's fading away, he says to Obi-Wan, which I thought this was just memorable. The one enemy Obi-Wan and Maul have always had has been Sidious, meaning what they've been fighting for against each other was not the true enemy, it was actually Sidious. But it's great how Maul passed on such a way, leaving a long legacy of Maul throughout comics, movies. I would never think when I watched this movie when I was 9 and go back and say, you're going to love this guy eventually. Which I did eventually. It took me a while, but I got there. But it was great to see how everything went off. Ezra goes back to Chopper Base to find out what happens. Doesn't say what happened on the planet, probably. Kept it a secret. And then we get this great final moment. Obi-Wan on his animal thingy, I forgot its name now. He gets off, and you look in the distance, It's the iconic scene from episode 4 when Luke's looking at the twin suns, and you hear Aunt Beru calling looking for supper. Guessing the Tatooine people have supper, I guess they do. But it's just not too much, but perfect. Just seeing Luke in the distance going home just before his great journey 2 years later. But it was great seeing Maul and Obi-Wan final their differences together. Didn't really like, as I said before, the reason Ezra got involved, but it's a tie in the Ghost Crew. But this is not the finale. Next week, Zero Hour. Zero what now? 0 Hour. The final part 1 and part 2 of what's going to happen to the Ghost Crew. And later on this week, I will discuss to myself on YouTube what will happen next, or who will die. But thank you for watching this video. If you want me to talk about different subjects or different theories, or different movies or episodes, or play different games, please just comment below and say, can you do this? I'd really like you to do this. But please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Be much appreciated. And I have much more to say, but may the force be with you.